let's do a little practical application of planning for business travel. So we need to do a little bit of business travel in 12 days. So I've got potentially 12 passage days where we could travel and move forward on our loop. I want to leave a little wiggle room though in case one of us gets sick or there's some weather or we just move a little slower than we expected. So I'm going to say we could go and travel up to 8 days to get to the next stop or the next area that we want to park the boat and be able to fly out from for business travel. I also know that for us, we can usually travel about 40 nautical miles per day. Now we can use this little bit of information to get an estimate on how far we can actually travel in that period of time. So if we say we have 8 days and we multiply that by 40 nautical miles per day, we'll find that we can go 320 nautical miles. That's the furthest that I would feel comfortable going from our current location. Now I also know, since we're in Oriental, North Carolina, know that Norfolk, Virginia is not super far away from here. And I know that's a bigger city. So there's an airport there. There's actually the international airport. There's going to be Ubers to get us to the airport. So let's go ahead and think through this process and how I would approach it. So first, since I've already kind of got Norfolk in my mind, let's look at what the distance is. So I already mapped this out on my Navionics boating app. And you can see, if you look here on the left, it's about 158 nautical miles from where I am now to get to one of the marinas there. What we said earlier was we could go max 320 nautical miles. This destination is well within that limit, so this could be a really good option for me because I know that it's going to have some of the things. But let's just also take that a step further, and we have a book called The Looper's Companion Guide. This is a really helpful book that has stops basically broken out about every 40 nautical miles, so very similar distances for the entire loop. So what I can do is I can flip to the page for Oriental and then see what some of the suggested travel days are for that. If I look at that, so this is a picture of the map. Oriental is stop number 20 right here, and where I want to go is stop number 24. So what that tells me is there is 1, 2, 3, 4 passage days that they've split this up into. Now I also know that the Dismal Swamp is coming up, and I do want to take a little time to maybe stop overnight at the Dismal Swamp Visitor Center. So I'm going to leave myself a little bit of flexibility, but 4 passage stops is very reasonable. We could get there pretty quickly if we wanted or needed to, but we also have a lot of flexibility to take our time. Now, before I finish planning out my route and kind of getting a rough idea of the plan, I also want to check Google Maps and see what's nearby. So I've already highlighted a few things on the map, but we would be looking at anchoring here at Hospital Point. And I've read about a dinghy dock over here by the USS Wisconsin. We've got the parks right here. Our favorite library is right here. And then we've got a marina here and a marina right here that we could use for showers or laundry, just paying a small fee to use the dinghy dock. Or if I had to, we could move the boat to a marina if we had bad weather coming. So this seems to check off a lot of boxes, not only for knowing we could get to an airport and take an Uber, but also something for the crew to do over the week and a half where one person has gone traveling. Hi everyone, if you've enjoyed this video and dream of combining remote work with the adventure of a lifetime, I've got something special for you. Check out my course, 5 Steps to Remote Work on a Boat. It's tailored to help you create a productive and a comfortable workspace while you're cruising America's Great Loop. This course covers everything from setting up your workspace and managing your time to balancing work with the unique challenges and the incredible life experiences on the water during the loop. Whether you're a seasoned cruiser or just starting your Great Loop adventure, this course is packed with practical tips, interviews from other remote workers on boats and on the loop, real-life case studies, and all the advice you need to make remote work on a boat successful. Click on the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen to learn more and start your journey towards a more flexible and adventurous remote work lifestyle. Happy looping! Now that we've kind of got an idea of how far it would take us to get to that destination that it's within the distance we think is appropriate, and that it checks all the boxes, I like to rough out the passage days. I looked back at the Looper's Companion Guide and checked where they recommended, and then I made a few modifications based on what we want. So first, we know we want to stop at Broad Creek because we have some friends there, and that's a real short day for us. So we can head there in the morning and hang out with our friends for the afternoon and then head out the next day. Then our second passage day would be from Broad Creek to Belhaven. Again, not a super far passage, but it's still a pretty good day. It's a 7-hour haul for us, assuming that we're going at about 6 knots. And we might be able to sail a little bit. We'll have to see what it looks like that day. Our next passage day would be a little bit shorter, 33 nautical miles from Belhaven to Alligator Cove. So I'm just mapping all of these out in Navionics so that I have a rough idea of how far it is from each stop to the next stop. And then often what happens is we'll either go a little further or maybe go a little less, and we know what our options are, and I've marked those anchorages so we have flexibility. Then our next stop is Elizabeth City, and that one's a little bit further. Looks like it might be about a 9-hour day. And we've also got to cross the Albemarle Sound. So this might be something we need a little flexibility in case the waves and weather are not conducive for us to get across the day we plan to. We've got those buffer days built in. That's why instead of saying we have 12 days, we said we have 8 days. And since our destination's actually not super far and we could do the entire thing in 4 days, that gives us more flexibility to make us more comfortable. Now, once we get to Elizabeth City, then we're getting real close to the Dismal Swamp. And I think we may actually want to spend an extra day at Elizabeth City because as we've talked to other sailors here in Oriental, they've really highly recommended Elizabeth City and the restaurants there. So maybe we'll spend an extra day in an anchorage there. And then when we're ready to move on, the next stop from Elizabeth City is the Dismal Swamp Visitor Center. And I've marked out here, we've got a lock. And that lock only opens at 4 different times during the day. So we would have to make sure we leave Elizabeth City at an appropriate time to get to that lock when it will be opened. Now, this one's a little bit weird. I tried to get from the Dismal Swamp Visitor Center to our destination, and it really should go up this way. But for whatever reason, at this lock, Navionics will not let me get through, so it's trying to take me all the way around. So this is not reality because I know we can get through here, but it's going to be a good idea for us while we're still in Elizabeth City. We'll be calling the bridge tenders and the Dismal Swamp Visitor Center just to make sure that there's not going to be any issues for our sailboat to get through that area with our depth and our air draft. So now that I've roughly planned out all of our stops along the way, this is just the rough route again, but I know that our destination up here is very achievable within those 12 days we have between now and the day we want to fly out. So I can feel very confident in going ahead and booking the plane tickets, maybe even booking the Uber ahead of time. Sometimes we do that. It's a bigger city, so it'll probably be fine, but I know roughly what to plan for, and I feel pretty good about the risk mitigation. There's very low risk in us actually getting there on time, and even if we did have trouble, if we had to stop at Elizabeth City for some reason, it would be reasonable to rent a car to get up here if we needed to. So we've got some good options, and I feel really good about our business travel plans.